Hi Virgo, welcome to Mama Star X channel and welcome to your reading for the month of July. Virgo, thank you for being here. I feel very excited to be able to give you this reading. So let's begin. I already done this video in Spanish, as you well know, for those of you who know me and for those of you who don't. I would like to remind you that although I'm using the same cards, sometimes the information that may come up may change based on the frequencies of the audience. So I've noticed that Spanish audience, the frequencies sometimes are different than the English one. So for those of you who are bilingual and may hear my videos, you may see a slight difference in the information that comes up just because I'm channeling this information as we speak, I should say. All right, Virgo. So it's very interesting because when I chose the cards, first I started with the oracles before I started with tarot. And I need to keep in mind that order because I first chose the information from the different oracles, and then lastly I chose the tarot cards. So when it comes to astrology, okay, the house that came out for you in this particular cycle was Taurus. So I have an oracle that has all the different astrological houses as well as the zodiac signs and the elements. And when I picked a card out of that oracle, the one that came out was Taurus. And Taurus, we already know that is the house that represents our possessions, our wealth. But when I do these readings, I like to talk about energy because everything that we do has two aspects or two faces or two different points of views. One is energy and the other one is physical. And which one comes first, the physical or the energy one? Well, we already know that it's the energy one because we know that physical reality is an extension of the energy one. And it is not until we start keeping in mind both aspects that we don't have a better understanding of what to do and how to direct our energy and how to use our energy and how to create the opportunities that we're trying to create. So my purpose in my readings is to remind you that yes, the oracle is picking up your story, or maybe not, because it's a general reading, so it's not going to be for everybody. But the cards and the symbology in the cards or in the oracle, it's also talking about the two aspects, the energy and the physical one. And I like to do my readings in that way, in that manner, talking about the energy flow of these energies that are representing your energies right now during this cycle, okay? So Taurus, vibrationally, is the house that represents your qualities, your capabilities. And I don't know how in tune are you with getting to know yourself and getting to know how to work your capabilities when it comes to the flow of energy that you're using, that you're manifesting, that you're emanating, or that you're tapping into. Now, for a second here, in the position that I was asked to do this reading, imagine energy moving. Because we live in a reality, Virgo, where energy is always moving. It's never static. In the way that we perceive our reality to be, we think it is. But let me remind you that you live in a planet that is constantly moving in the cosmos. And that our reality, our physical reality, even though it looks fixed, is not. Because the energy of this reality is constantly changing. And if we're not able to know how to flow with the natural change that takes place in that energy, we create blockages. And the blockages are experiences that we use in order to enlighten ourselves to understand what we're doing and how we're doing it, and ultimately overcome those challenges and create the experiences that will allow us to mature ultimately, right? And stop creating blockages. But in the meantime, we're having the experiences, and it's thanks to those blockages sometimes that we're able to pay attention a little bit more and a little bit better about the things that we're doing, because sometimes we're doing things and we're not paying attention to what we're doing. We haven't been taught to think and operate in that manner. So we like to come and hear these readings hoping to hear something better, hoping to change our lives and our realities and our opportunities. But sometimes we don't really understand what it is that we're doing to continue to recreate the same experiences. So to me, I personally believe that getting used to hearing this reading every day is not really healthy, because the oracle gives you the information that you need to apply to make the necessary changes in your life, but the application is just as important as the theory. I would say that even more, because through the application you get to learn things that you may not get to learn in the theory. So you need to give yourself time to apply the information that you're getting from an oracle and see and determine whether that application worked out for you. But anyways, we have free will, and we choose to do whatever we choose to do. But I like to see both sides. And with Taurus, it's talking about your capabilities. Are you familiar with your abilities? And I'm not talking about going to college and getting a degree, even though that's helpful. I'm talking about your natural qualities as an energetic being that you have. In tarot, those qualities are being represented by the Magician, which is the card that talks about your capabilities of using the elements. Those are the elements that you are going to mix and manipulate in order to create all of your life experiences. Now, you bring certain qualities that you've been able to master already in other incarnations. I know not everybody believes about reincarnation, but that's okay. So the things that are easy for you to manifest in your life is because you already learned what you needed to know in order to specialize yourself and become a master in those capabilities. But the things that you're having challenges with, those are the things that you're learning to perfect. You're trying to perfect those qualities, and that has to do with Taurus. Now, in the physical aspect, you can focus on your material possessions or your stability. You can focus on stability. Well, stability is not only about material possessions, it's about all areas of your life. I want stability. I want to be stable in my love life. I want to be stable in my relationships. I want to be stable with my family. You know what I mean? Whatever concepts of stability represents for you, that's being represented in Taurus. From an astrological point of view, they talk more about wealth and money, and that's okay. I have my own style. So this is one of those cycles and moments where the oracle is saying, well, the focus in this cycle is in this house. It vibrates with the number 2. In tarot, the number 2 is the high priestess, which is a very feminine energy. But in astrology, this is a very masculine energy. Okay? So that's one of the oracles. Other oracles are talking about the nature of this energy and basically are saying that this is one of those moments where there is an influence of very positive energy. Okay, so the influences of energy during this cycle, which is more focused on Taurus, second house of astrology, the house of your wealth, There is a ripening in the energy thanks to the work that you've done over time. And I'm not talking about one day or a week. I'm talking about a longer period of time. The things that you've been doing in your life where you have changed for the better. The knowledge and the information that you're using that is helping you to change for the better, that is helping you to regain a sense of control about the things that you can do in your life, that is going to bring joy and is going to bring you happiness. And there is a flowering in that energy. And that energy is ripened. And because of that, Virgo, it's allowing you to take the role of leading. And as you can see, I placed that card in the center of your reading. It's vibrating with the number 4. Astrologically, 4 is the house of Cancer. So here we start tying things together. So Taurus is talking about your capabilities and your wealth. That is not just physical, but it begins in your personality. How you're using that wealth to create an environment in your home, in your personal life, in your intimate reality that ultimately will translate outwardly, right? Because our home is an extension of the work that we do within ourselves. So it represents the outcome of how we're using our energies and our knowledge within ourselves. Our home represents our body, our vehicle, how we're working with our vehicle. So it's the physical aspect that is representing our own environment, our own body, and the relationship that as consciousness we have with that body. And now there is an influence that is very beneficial for you, Virgo, and this time around that is flourishing. And yes, it's an influence that is coming from the universe, but your participation with the universe and the connection that you're creating with that energy, it's helping the energy to flourish and to bless you in a way that you can take the role of a lead. Now, this lead is not saying that you need to go and tell people what to do and how to do it. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you being in a position to demonstrate through your qualities, your determination, and your level of integrity how to make choices that will be very beneficial to you, not just short term, but long term. Because it comes from the level, from the type of relationship that you've created all of this time or recently, in recent years, with your divine or your divinity or your divine nature is what I was trying to say, with your divine nature. Okay? Now, look at the other cards as this moving force that is not static, because we tend to see things physically like, in a way that is not moving. Look at these energies as moving energies. As part of this energy flow that is changing constantly in our reality. And these cards are representing your energies right now in the way that you're directing and manipulating your energies, how it's moving. So we have here the 3 of Pentacles. We have the Death card upside down. We have the Judgment in the right position. We have the World upside down. We have an Ace of Swords the right way. We have the Star the right way. We have the Empress upside down and the Wheel of Fortune semi upside down, right? So we have a wheel here, like the Wheel of Fortune. This is representing the Wheel of Fortune, the cosmic clock, how I call it. It's representing the flow of energy clockwise, how the energy is constantly moving in our reality, and how we're flowing and swimming in that energy. And as you can see, the cards are picking up out of 6 major arcana, which is the forces, very strong influences that you're having in this cycle. 6 of them are coming to talk about the flow of your own energy. Of course, this is a general reading, so I'm not going to describe everybody's, energy here. So you got to be very selective and aware of the things that you're choosing to connect with or to incorporate. But out of those 6 influences, 4 of them are upside down. The energies are semi-blocked. How blocked, I don't know, because we would have to continue to read the cards and see what's, behind it. But in this particular level or layer, there are 6 major arcanas and 4 are upside down and 2 are direct. So let's look at them. So we have the Death card upside down, and we have the Judgment cards in the right direction, and we have the World upside down. And what's upside down? Well, it has to do with this 3 of coins here, which was the first card that I picked. And the 3 of coins is talking about a connection that we're trying to create or that we've been working with. This could talk about relationship as well as about work, the type of connections that we're trying to create. So it's singling out a situation where we want to work with somebody. We want to be in the same page. We want to connect to that person, or we want to connect with that person. We want to work together. If it's a relationship, we're trying here to work something out. But there is a change that needs to take place that it hasn't long term in order for this connection to work. So the cards are talking about this minor thing here, because we know that the 3 of coins is a minor arcana. Now we should not take for granted a minor arcana just because it's minor. This minor arcana here of a 3 of Pentacles is talking about the energy of the Empress, and the Empress here is upside down. And this is the card that represents, from a physical perspective, our stability. Spiritually, it's talking about our feelings, our emotions, our inner reality, and it's upside down. Right now, in the movement of this energy, is upside down, which is talking about that whatever is happening here with this 3 of coin is not making us feel very stable. It's not bringing the level of stability that an Empress would like. And because of that, one of the reasons why the Empress is upside down, we're not feeling really stable or very sure about this 3 of coins, is because something has to change, and it hasn't. I also see here a judgment, the need of taking a decision. And remember, Virgo, you should be taking the lead. You should not be following right now, or you should not be waiting. You're the leader. You're being put in a position to lead because you have the experience that you need. You know what to do. You know what you need to do. You have the clarity. You're in a position to lead. The universe says that you're in the position to lead, not to tell people what to do, but through your actions speak louder than words. And you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom to do it. In the meantime, there is an energy that is flourishing here. And the best option in a situation like this is to let that energy do the work. All you need to do is have the clarity make the choice and get out of the way so that the energy that is flourishing, thanks to all the work that you've done before, takes the lead and creates the opportunities that will allow you for you to feel joy, to feel abundant, to feel satisfaction. But in the meantime, there is a blockage here, right? That is talking about a need for a change. Something has to change. You know what that is. So there is a decision that needs to be made about this Three of Coins that hasn't. And because we haven't made a final decision or a decision. Let's not finalize it. It doesn't have to be final. There is a lack of change here that is causing for the cycle not to end. It's being prolonged. Okay? And it has to do with this situation with this person, which is not making you feel, or is not making either people or persons involved feel very stable. Now, the card that is moving in the right direction is the Star card, which is a very positive, positive card, because it's talking about hope. There is hope. There is hope for the better, and maybe this hope has a lot to do with these influences that we're feeling here. And these influences are also talking about Taurus capabilities, your capabilities, and the capabilities of the other person. But I'm reading for you more than anything, right? So the Star here, it's bringing a sense of hope, a sense of renewal. But we have to be honest and we have to be truthful, because the Ace of Wands here is basically connecting. You see, it's pointing to the card of the lead in the center, but it's also pointing to the Three of Pentacles. So we need to be honest with ourselves, and we need to, determine whether there is a potential here of working with somebody else. And if in that potential, the Empress can move in the right direction, can feel stable. Okay? Now, the Wheel of Fortune, it's semi upside down. And as you could see, as it's moving, it's going into the right direction. So there is a shift and there is a change that is taking place within the movement of these energies, where eventually the Death card and the World card will come in the right direction. But in the meantime, they're not. And the cards that are behind it are the cards that are going on the top of these cards that will determine whether this flow of energy eventually is going to create the fluidity that the energy needs to have in order to move naturally in the way that it's supposed to. And that is determined by you. It's determined by how you perceive this situation and the choices that you're making. You understand that, Virgo? So the Wheel of Fortune is coming here and is creating, is forcing a change in the nature of this connection. Who is going to change? Well, that's to be determined. It's determined by you, and it's determined by the other person or the other people involved in this particular Three of Pentacles. But as of right now, whatever is happening and the lack of decision here, the indecisions that we may be feeling, is creating these blockages in these energies, where behind it something is good and something is flourishing. Because there is a mastery here, a mastery that is taking place within our capabilities. So not everything is bad. Not everything that looks, stuck or a challenge or a problem is bad. It's just a matter of how we look at things. The other oracle is also saying that there is a lot of passion in this particular situation and in this particular connection. There is a twin flame material here. But I would like to clarify that just because we have a twin flame connection, it doesn't mean that it has to be the right connection. You know, we have this tendency to believe that once we get a twin flame connection, that this is it. Sometimes I have clients that they come with this expectation that it's my twin flame. I know my twin flame. So now I have to stop from living and paying attention to other opportunities because I met my twin flame. And although things are not working out, I met my twin flame. So I need to do whatever is necessary for me to be with my twin flame. And it doesn't work that way. Virgo, it doesn't work that way. It's a little bit more complex and complicated than that. Just because you met your twin flame, it doesn't mean that that's it. That you get to be with that person for the rest of your days. You can attract your twin flame at a given moment, and that person can come and give you a push. But just because that person comes to your rescue doesn't mean that they're ready to be there for you for the rest of your life, living a happily ever after situation. It doesn't work that way. It's complicated. And the most important thing you need to know is that just because your twin flame shows up, it doesn't mean that it's coming to stay. You need to pay attention to what it is that your twin flame is coming to help you. Because a lot of times they come to give you a push because you may feel stuck in your growth, in your understanding of your life lessons. So something is happening here that is positive, even though on the surface may not. And you're being asked to put yourself in a situation of leading, demonstrating your capabilities, demonstrating your wisdom and your knowledge, and setting an example. That's what I'm getting out of this cycle. And it's huge. There's going to be a lot of joy coming from this attitude and these actions, Virgo. You may not see it right now, but it's coming. You just got to have faith. The Star card is asking for faith. Look at the numerology that is coming in these cards. From the Death card, which is a 13, you go into 20 and then 21. But something is blocked. And it's blocked from the Empress because it's a number 3. It has to do with your divine feminine. A sense, and you're clear because the cards are telling me that you have the clarity. You know what I'm talking about. You know what's going on. You have the sun behind you. Remember that the moon and the sun astrologically is the divine couple. Represents the divine within ourselves. From a spiritual perspective, is our mind versus our emotions. Our physical consciousness versus our spiritual one. From a physical perspective, it represents our creative side versus our analytical side. When we take it into the relationship aspect, represents our connections. Okay? Our physical connections. So everything is a replica. And we need to understand at every level what that represents so that we have the understanding of what to do when we hear these readings. Now, I have my own style once again, and my style may not resonate with everybody, but it's okay. It's okay. So you're taking the lead. Now, when I look at the cards that come afterwards, look at this. In the Spanish video, it took me longer to get here. I can make a second part if you guys choose to, and I can talk about what's coming next, because we have a 4 of Swords together with a 3 of Pentacles. We have a Page with Death. We have the Ace of Pentacles upside down with Judgment. We have Strength card with the World upside down. We have the Page of Wands with the Swords. And the Page of Wands here is upside down. We have the Page of Wands is upside down with the Ace of Swords. And then we have the Page of Swords in the right direction with the Star card. And then we have the Seven of Swords with the Empress upside down. And then we have the Fool with the Wheel of Fortune. And the Fool is upside down. So Wheel of Fortune upside down, the Fool is upside down. So we continue to see the movement of energy here. And now we can see that the Three of Pentacles, this connection has generated, this energy flow where in this cycle we have 3 pages which talk about beginnings, messages, new beginnings, a very young energy. So the behavior here, it's generating whatever is happening in the first layer is generating this newness of the pages coming and telling us something. And one here, it's offering something very small. Somebody's here is thinking about offering something very small because this page may not know what else to do or what else to offer. And as you can see right behind it, it has an Ace of Pentacles upside down. So this Page of Cups, that's all it can do. It cannot do better. The actions of this page emotionally is to offer an information that is insignificant or that is not very much, but that's all it can do because through actions it cannot show more. This person is holding back, and we see the Strength card connected to this Fool. It's like the energy of this page is being stopped, or it's being regulated, is what I'm hearing, regulated to not offer more. And someone here with the Seven of Swords. It's very interesting because we see here a Page of Swords, someone trying to communicate, and somebody running away from this communication. We're trying to avoid this communication. We're not, it's like the Fool, right? Is trying to get upright and to, start new. We're desiring to have this new beginning and let go of the burden of whatever burden this situation is bringing. But it's not happening because we're running away from a situation instead of facing it. And that's because we're not feeling stable. I mean, is that a good reason to behave this way? I don't know. And the question here is whether the Seven of Swords, if somebody is running away with his swords because he's trying to protect them from this Page of Swords, because this Page of Swords is trying to take this person's swords. I mean, we don't know who is the thief here. Somebody is running away because they're afraid, or because they're taking something that is not for them to take, or because it's trying to protect something important that this page is one to take. And that's depending on you. But you see somebody here, this Page of Swords has hope, hasn't lost hope. While this other person, you see 2 people here, right, Virgo? The Empress, somebody doesn't feel secure. And the Empress, the Empress attitude is always to create and to have the level of stability that the Empress need. and something is being taken here where the Empress has to run away. And that's not a typical attitude of an Empress. But in this particular case, maybe it's for the sake of the Empress to change her fortune, right? The Wheel of Fortune, to change her fortune, because right now it's being questioned. And maybe the Empress here knows that there is a flow of energy that is very positive and wants to take advantage of that flow of energy. And in this particular situation, that is being taken away. So maybe that's what the sword is trying to represent in this particular case, that there is a benefit here of energy flow that if you don't take the opportunity, it's going to be wasted in a situation where somebody here who's coming with a lot of it's kind of an irony, right, Virgo? It's ironic in a way. But I can see and I can understand that point. It's fascinating when I see these cards here. So we're thinking about it. So we have the Four of Swords, and the Four is talking about the Emperor, the energy of the Emperor, the initiative of the Emperor. From a spiritual perspective, it's talking about our own personal initiatives. In this particular case, Taurus. Taurus is a very masculine energy, but is ruled by a very feminine energy, Venus. And it's talking about our capabilities. And our capabilities, according to the Oracle, is leading. We need to take the lead in our projects, to take the lead in our initiatives, because there is an influence here of very positive energy. But we have to know how to invest that energy. So we're thinking about it here, whether working with this Three of Pentacles, with this people, or with this person is the right situation. And we're being offered here something that is not very big, but when it comes to stability and finances, I mean, look at the cards, right? Look at this clock, how it's moving. The Ace of Pentacles is upside down, and that could be a very good reason why we're running away. See? From this perspective, we see a Seven of Swords, somebody like a thief running away from this Page of Pentacles. But when we look at this other side, we see an Ace of Pentacles. We may be losing money or wealth in this particular connection. And maybe this is why this page is so hopeful, because to this page, this is a grand opportunity. Somebody here is giving me something. I'm taking something. It doesn't look that way because the energy behind this person seems very good. It's the Star card. This is my I hit the jackpot. I hit the lottery. And the other person is saying, fuck this. You know, you're taking. And I mean, maybe taking something from me may not be the right approach, right? Because no one can take anything from you unless you give it. That's the reality of truth. But sometimes we really need to be very aware and conscientious of who we share our time and energy with, because there are energy vampires out there that are trying to take our energy. So how do we protect ourselves from those people and from those particular situations? And maybe this is one of the ways. And I'm not trying to excuse anybody's behavior here. But ultimately, right, the running away is so that we can change and, you know, get ourselves in this path where we want the Wheel of Fortune to be on our side, right? The blessings, because we have worked really hard for these blessings. So everything is relevant in a way. And everything counts and everything matters, correct? And I feel like, you know, this page here is coming in three ways with three elements. Cups, Wands and Swords. The only thing that is missing here is the Pentacles. The Pentacles. And the Pentacles is the one that talks about giving something physically. Here, I give you this candy. Here, I give you this gift. It's insignificant, but I'm giving, right? The act of giving. I'm buying you dinner. I thought of you. I'm buying you a flower. Or I brought you a flower. Sometimes it doesn't have to be something big, but it's the act of, choosing to give that I also give back. You see what I mean? It's fascinating. I keep saying that. It's fascinating. So somebody here is definitely acting with a lot of power and strength. Look at this. The Strength card with the World upside down. And look at this card. This is a very powerful card. And it's coming with the Fool. So it requires a very strong determination to hold steady, because we know that the World card is behind it and it's not in the right direction. And the nature of this energies is to move in the right situation. But this Strength card, or this person here who's representing the Strength card, it knows that it's just a matter of time for this energy to change. And this is the card of Leo. So you could be dealing with a Leo, or you could be having an aspect of Leo in your chart, Virgo. You could be a Leo rising or ascending, for all that matter. When we look at the World card, the World card is representing energy of Saturn. Interesting, Saturn, the karmic father. And Saturn delays everything. I've said that in a reading. Every time you see Saturn, Saturn always tends to delay every situation. You could also be dealing with a Taurus. It's very strong Taurus energy here. Aquarius. There is an influence of Pluto here. There's very strong influences in this reading, Virgo. So it wouldn't be a bad thing for you to look at your placements of Taurus in your chart right now, how are being affected. Because I feel like this is definitely a lesson that you need to learn, that it relates to your capabilities. What you're capable of doing in a situation after learning the theory. So it's the application. How you're applying the knowledge and information that you're using in order to understand you better and understand your capabilities and understand the options that are being presented to you. This is really important. And of course, it could be in the area of relationships, but this is an application that you need to learn and apply in every aspect of your life, because everything you do in the physical world, eventually it relates to relationships. Now, I cannot deny that behind all of this, there is a flow of energy that is very abundant, is very joyful, and is flowering, and is very ripened for you. It's for you. Now, the question is, how are you going to use it? With whom? With whom? You're going to spend the time and your energy. Because if there is something here that is not providing you with the level of stability that you deserve as an Empress, and then what are you going to do? Because you can take all of this energy, positive energy, and direct it in a negative way. And feel frustrated because in the next reading, your energy may not come up in the way you want to. But who contributed and who participated of these situations? And that's what you need to figure it out. Now, in the energy, the way it's flowing, it says that ultimately you will release whatever is happening here, because you're dealing with somebody or with a situation where somebody is not mature enough to provide the level of stability that the Empress needs. And I'm going to say that it's you. So you know what you need as an Empress. Now, I haven't chosen any more cards, but if you want me to continue to move into that direction, you know, you could either ask me to do a second part, or I can check next time around how your energies are flowing. It's all, you know, just remember, this is constantly moving, and you're part of that energy flow and that energy movement. So I thank you very much for being here and taking the time to hear my reading, and I wish you the best of luck, Virgo. Until next time.